Alrighty, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Since I am known as the Distracted Candle Maker, previously my journey in candle making, part of my distraction is today I'm making today I'm making soap. So I already made one loaf, my very first loaf. I think it's cute. It's called a loaf of soap. Haha. And so in that one, I also had made these little flowers. So the flowers are going to be the top of the next batch. So it's cotton candy. And I wanted to make some more flowers because what I want is I want them to be all the way across the bottom. So what I'll end up doing right now, I can fit about 2 full flowers there, but I made 3. The bottom doesn't look perfect, but it doesn't have to. And then I pre-measured out my ingredients. So I have 1 pound 3 ounces and 1 pound and 2 ounces because I previously determined that I like 2 pounds 5 ounces total fill in one of these, which ends up being about that tall. One of these loaves off of Amazon holds a total of 50 fluid ounces, which I also figured out on my own by putting water in it and measuring it. So I've got my soap measured out. I've got the fragrance oil measured out at 3%, which is on the low end of 3 to 5%. So, which is what my soap base recommends, 3 to 5%. So I have 16 ounces, 16 grams, big difference, 16 grams in each of those, because each of the melt and pour containers, which is going to be a different color, is going to get half of that fragrance. So then I have my mica powder, which this cap is not on all the way. So light blue and peach pink, which is what I'll mix into those when I'm done. This one I had put glitter on top. It is a biodegradable glitter. And then this one I'm debating. I may pour just a little bit of the melt and pour first so that it's flat and then kind of squish those into it. But I might just pour over it and hope that it works, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards. But I am going to take these out and put glitter on the very bottom. So because I'm going to put the glitter on the bottom, I'm concerned that maybe I shouldn't pour directly on the bottom. All right. Well, anyways, I'm waiting for these guys to harden up. And because they're littler, they don't take as long. Listen to me talking like I know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm just kind of getting an idea if it will come off yet. So these were kind of fun. I just guessed how much it held, and I just used those same little measuring cups and melted teeny tiny little bits of the soap base at a time and then mixed the mica just to make these ones, because I did quickly find out the first time that I made these that the soap does start getting like a layer on top of itself. So if I had tried making these at the same time like I did last time as melting those, then those would be like setting up and cooling already, and I really didn't want that. So I'm going to do a couple things off camera and I will be back in a jiff. Alrighty, so I just took those two out, and they're the ones on the very end, and I'm testing how they're gonna look on top. So something like that is how I'm gonna put them in the bottom, and I decided I'm not going to add any glitter to this one. Oh, I just pulled the last one out. They're so pretty. Oh, I love them so much. So much. All right, so I've got those down in my loaf pan and I'm gonna pour over the top. I'm gonna get ready to melt my wax. So the first time I did this, I used the double boiler method on that one there, and that worked great. I look forward to de-loafing it. And then I'm also going to use the last flour that I have. This is the mica powder that I use. For the last little flour I have, I'm going to open this guy up and I'm going to make a single little cotton candy soap. All right, so this is going to be my little individual soap that will be made out of the same batch. So for this one, I'll show you guys. I'm just going to put this right on top of there. And he kind of deforms it a little bit. So maybe if I... There we go. Like that. All right, so like that. All right, so now it's time to take the wax and put it in the microwave. So, and I think that I need to try to be doing these at the same time because otherwise I'm going to have one of them that's ready and the other that's not. So here goes nothing. And I'm just going to do it for short little bursts, like 10 seconds at a time, and then check. Okay, so 10 seconds did nothing so far. I'll be back and I'll let you know how long it takes. All right, so now I've been going for almost 1 minute in 10, 20, and 30-second openings, and you can see it starting to melt. I am taking it out and stirring it at that point. Okay, definitely starting to look better. This is after another 30-second burst. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of push those other little pieces in there because I don't want any one part of it to scorch more than the other. Sorry for this horrible videomanship, but I'm trying to let you guys get a real feel. So then I'm going to scrape that off and put those back in for another 30 seconds, but I'm checking every 10 to 15. And because I don't want to forget what I'm doing, we're just going to do it for 15 seconds. All right, and this is what it's looking like after just that 15 seconds I said I was going to add. So it's definitely looking a lot better. And you see how that kind of, it gets this weird layer on the top. Okay, so I won't be back until this is fully melted and I'm adding the mica. Okay, I know I said I wouldn't be back until I was ready, but I just want to show you what the top does. So it starts like having its own layer. So it is just about melted completely, but what I'm going to do because of my first time doing this last time, double boiler method, by the way, is I'm going to give this another 15 to 30 seconds because I'm now trying to bring up the temperature so that I have time to do what I'm trying to do. All right, be right back. And into the soap you go. All right, so I'm about to add the mica powder. I'm going to use a fork, knife. I'm going to use one end for that one end for that, and then I'm going to stir like crazy and get to pouring. All right, so I'm just going to try and show you a little bit. I'm not going to focus on you guys very much. Okay, so there's that. And then back here, I'm just using the other side. And there's that. And then this guy, I'm just going to throw in the sink. And I start mixing. Woo! I do like to use the thermometer for this part because I can double, because I can do two things at once. I can keep an eye on the temperature and I can stir. And because I am combining these guys, I'm not really going to care about the fact that I'm about to double dip this bad boy. And I don't know if you noticed that, but it already had a layer on the top. So melt and pour, what I'm realizing so far is that you gotta move pretty fast. And probably shouldn't make a video as you're doing it. You'll also notice that it's getting these bubbles on the top. I want to try and get some of that color from the mica in there, but you know what? I'm not even going to be picky right now. I'm just going to let it do its thing. Okay, so that's at 136 degrees. Oh, and you know what I haven't done? Oh my gosh, you guys. We gotta add the fragrance oil. What am I thinking? Okay, normally I'm like super anal retentive. We'll say AR about trying to get every last drop. But I'm not going to do that. We're just going to make sure that we get mixed in really well. And we're going to do the same with this guy. So one thing I did find my first batch earlier was that when I mixed using a metal pouring container, it stayed warm longer. Whereas the other color I had in one of these, and it started drying a lot, or cooling down, I guess I should say, a lot faster. So this is at 132 degrees. This one is at, looks like 136. Okay, so then I'm just going to pour that, not pour, I'm going to set that one there. And since this one's cooler, we're going to go ahead and pour some of this first. And I do apologize, but right now I'm only somewhat concerned about the video. So I'm trying to get a little bit of a tie-dye-esque look, but I'm also trying to make sure that all the edges and those little holes are filled in before it dries. Scooch over. Okay. So I did watch a video and it said that it was a little bit trickier to get like a, not tie-dye, but how do you say, a swirled effect with melt and pour. And I can see why that would be true. So they said to use contrasting colors and try not to reheat it very often. They also said they did not try doing a video their first pour, which I get, because this is actually my second pour, but it might as well be, you know, because it's today. It's the only time I've done it. Oh, and I don't want to forget that I'm also trying to make one little soap over here. So we're going to hop over and we're just going to go like this. And I'm going to pour it across. And I'm going to grab my blue and I'm going to pour it across. Whoop. It's already starting to dry because I'm getting down there at the bottom. And this soap is going to be for me, especially that one. But I'm going to try, see if I can, nope. Oh, a little bit. Whoop. I'm just trying to fix the sides a little bit. Ooh. So it gets like this texture on the top. Okay. So that's a good example for people like me who've never done this. All right, now I'm going to get to woo. I'm just going to pour like pretty much all that. Hopefully that was on video. And then we're going to woo that guy. I'm just going to kind of let it do its little thing. And that. Okay, now you can see these guys are like down to the bottom there. So I'm going to put those in the microwave for like 10 seconds. All right, so I did my 10 seconds and now I'm gonna just go like that on the top. Oh, sorry. And then I have just a little bit of the pink left. So the good thing is this is supposed to be the bottom, not the top. So then last but not least, you are supposed to spray it, ooh, with isopropyl alcohol. And then I'm just gonna give it a little like that. Sorry. And then I'm just gonna kind of try and clean up my edges here. It is definitely already like drying. So I don't know if you can tell, but it has like a layer. And now this is definitely not like those videos you see where they're like doing the swirl and all that. That I believe is called cold pour or cold process. This is called melt and pour. Okay, so I know it's not pretty and that video definitely sucked. Here is the aftermath of my mess. I don't know, guys. I kind of love it. And then I've got this little guy over here with more of my mess here. I'm curious about using a heat gun to soften that up and try and make it smooth. I made my first melt and pour soap. These are them. So we're going to cut them, and I'm going to get my face out of the camera as soon as I pause the camera to get resituated. And I'm trying not to whisper, but I'm trying to whisper because my boyfriend is resting. Thanks for watching my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start out by just taking it out of the box that holds it in. So this is actually the second one that I made today. Cotton candy. And then this is the first one. So my first ever. Ever. Struggling. So this is my first ever. And it's biodegradable glitter, goat's milk soap base, and Fizzle Me That's cotton candy milk. Cotton candy milk. No. Cotton candy fragrance oil. Ooh. All right, well, that's the bottom. All right, so we're going to set that down. So earlier I determined that each of these should be about 1 inch thick. And I don't have one of those fancy cutters yet, so I used a ruler and I will cut it in half first, right? Let's see, what is that? And yes, I definitely make things more complicated. Oh, just about right. Alrighty, so that's what that one looks like. Tricky. So that should be 1, 2, 3. Alright, well, to be honest, I'm just going to start eyeballing them. Ooh. Okay. Damn, those things are hard to cut. I'm not going to make you guys sit through all of that, but I do want to show you how some of them turned out. And I apologize, the lighting is not the best. So my attempt at melt and pour swirling, and then pretty little tops. And then I will melt those. Melt them. All right, if you guys have been watching me long enough, you'll see that I can't talk. The bottom is just so pretty. Okay, so carrying on. Well, that's one way. I'm literally just letting it stick to it and using that as a reference to cut the next one. Alrighty. Cotton candy, anyone? So what did I end up with? 12. I was thinking 10. So I guess next I would weigh them, wrap them, and check downstairs to see if my actual soap cutters came. They're probably sitting downstairs on the porch right now. I'll have to take some better videos to show how they turned out. But I'm happy. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, now I attempt to wrap. So I just have them laid out on saran wrap, and I'm going to cut down the middle. And I'm basically just going to keep doing the same thing. Cut down the middle. Just going to pull tight. tight. And then here so I used to work at a little convenience store called Penny Savers, and we used to wrap sandwiches. And so when I'm wrapping my soap for the very first time, I'm kind of picturing wrapping a sandwich. And then I will take the heat gun and gently melt that. And then so I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. This one has more on the top, so I'm going to use the top, pull that down tight, take the bottom, pull that nice and tight. And then I'm just going to set them down. Like that, so that they don't come undone. It is helpful to have it somewhat centered. Oh, ripped that one. Okay, so I'm actually, sorry, I'm not a professional. I'm gonna do these sideways. Okay, so there's that. And this is really just for at home, so that while I am getting better, these guys don't get any kind of like condensation in them. Because I've heard that it's sensitive to moisture. So for my own storing, I will probably wrap these better, because I didn't quite give myself enough room. Although, see, like this one has a little corner right there that isn't covered, but I mean, really, it's pretty good considering it's just saran wrap, right? And then you take a sticker and you use the sticker to close over it once you've heat sealed it, right? So pretty cute if you ask me. So maybe I did better on these ones. Oh, I did, because I didn't cut them yet. Right. Live and we learn, right? Okay, so shrink wrap that. Definitely still perfecting this. So if I go that way, right. So we're gonna try. I have it diagonal again. So this time we're going to do the big part first. We're going to go ahead and pull that there. Pulling tight. Take this one, pull tight. Kind of like you're wrapping a present, right? Push down there. And then pull up so that it's nice and tight on the corners. And then same thing, I'm holding that one in place, pushing these two little sides down, and pulling nice and tight, and then setting it right there. And I probably didn't give myself enough for this last one, so this one can hang out over there. And we're just going to use this full piece here. All right, so up, up. And so this one has too much, right? So we're going to get rid of that. I do want it really tight, like, so it kind of looks like it's shrink wrapped. And then pull and push, and pull and push, and then upside down to seal itself in. Okay, we'll set those there. I've got 5 pieces left to wrap. So I haven't decided if I like them to be diagonal or if I like them to be straight. So let me look. That's straight. Oh. And that one's straight and that one was diagonal. So I definitely think that diagonal is cleaner, but I still need to shrink wrap these guys, so. Okay, so this time I'm just gonna use, I'm so sorry, you probably can't hear me because I'm whispering because my boyfriend got home from work. I'm upstairs. Normally I'm downstairs where I don't have to think about how loud or not loud I'm being. So we're gonna try diagonal now. So very satisfying. Okay, so we're gonna do actually going to try rolling it. Oh, yeah. And pull those in. And again. Right. Gonna hold those down and pull and wrap. Okay, so I'm holding down the back, pulling that tight, rolling, tucking this little corner in, tucking both those, pulling tight, flipping while holding it all in place, getting better, and ta-da, and sitting there. Last but not least, you guys ever hear the joke about how long it takes a newbie to wrap soap? So far, it looks like we're going to be at about 20 minutes with 3 to go. All right, so, yeah. All right, so this time I'm going to try wrapping that one first. Wrapping that one down. I think the rolling it was nice, but I feel like it actually might flow better not rolling it. I don't know, let's see. So I'll go like this. I don't know, I'm able to pull tighter when I roll, but when I pull tight on these sides, I can actually fold the corners in better. So the jury's not out on that one yet. All right, and then, wow, one left. Okay, so I got my handy dandy saran wrap. We're gonna go ahead and handy dandy cut it, because, you know, I handy dandy threw the box away. Center. And you guys probably think I'm done, which is cute, because, you know, it's not like I have my... It's not like I still have to shrink wrap it or anything. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing, because, you know, I'm watching what I'm doing, not the camera. So, alright. I won't make you watch the second one, but I did make another loaf of soap, so there we go. Cotton candy batch 1 done. Alrighty, so today I am going to shrink wrap these using the saran wrap that they were wrapped in yesterday to seal them. Alrighty, we're just gonna move these. So yesterday I fought with them and I wrapped them, but I didn't actually seal them. So I've got my heat gun set on the lowest setting, which is 1. Got a little arrow here, and then that's lined up with it. So we're gonna go ahead and turn it on. And then it says to give it short little bursts, 6 to 12 inches away. And then you give it a little tap. I'm pausing for the cause because I'm trying to see if it's working, which I'm not actually seeing that it's working. So I'm going to try one little spot. Okay, so I think I need to turn it up. So I'm turning it up to 2. Now I'm going to turn it up to 1.5. Okay, so it's sealed better now, but it's not like melted to each other. So we're gonna go ahead and try another. And remember, we're trying not to melt the soap. Okay, so for the purposes of this video, that seems to be working, because if you look at these were all done yesterday, right? They're not stuck. So these are staying closed now. So let's go ahead and see if it works with this one. We're gonna tighten it a little bit more. Okay, so I'm starting to get the hang of it. And then remember, ideally after this, we would be putting on our labels. Okay, so we're gonna try to do a couple of these at a time to speed up the process. Okay.
All right, so those worked pretty well. Okay, I didn't go through and tighten any of these, right? I just did the back side so that it stopped coming up, and then we're putting them back in a row just so that you can see that that is an at-home alternative for wrapping your soap. And then remember, we would put a little label here, a sticky label or something like that that has all of the necessary labeling requirements on it, especially if you plan on selling these. And there we go. So that actually worked out a lot better than I thought it would. So thank you guys for watching, and see what else I can come up with. Here we go. Alrighty, so this is Cotton Candy Take 2. This is the one that had the really cool flowers placed in the bottom that I thought would show through and give just this beautiful look. So curiosity makes me want to cut off a thin layer and see if any of the flower shows through if I cut it. So maybe I'll try that and ruin this, but you can see where the little parts of the flower wanted to be. All right. Alrighty, so yesterday I took this out of the loaf. It was supposed to have flowers, smells like cotton candy. I wrapped it in saran wrap just temporarily so that it would not get any kind of moisture or anything. And now I am going to grab a cutting board, unwrap it. I also recommend wearing gloves. This is what the top of the loaf pan looked like after I poured. And then this is the side. So it's not perfect, but this was my second time making Melt and Pour soap. This was the part that was supposed to have the flowers, and then the other side. All right, so
smells delicious like cotton candy. Yesterday when I did this video, I did not have a chopper, but thanks to Amazon, today I do. So I always see people take off just a little bit at the end so that it has that same texture. Well, I guess that'll be my piece. All right. And then I'm gonna aim for the same size on these. They're very pretty. Oh, that one has a little problem on the bottom. They probably all will because of that flower. Well, this definitely cuts better than the kitchen knife I was using yesterday. I'll show you guys some of how the designs turned out when I'm done cutting. Alrighty, and then that leaves me with a beautiful little chunk of my own. Alright, so I'm trying to get some of the light, natural light on here. You can see where the flowers tried to live. Same here. See, that's a flower at the bottom. That's the one that got messed up, see? Alrighty. So I made... Woo! Word of advice, don't do this so close to the edge of the counter, because I just dropped those. So it looks like I made about 13 total. And that is all I've got for you today. Good thing is my floor stays pretty clean and I'm not selling these. Well, I'm gonna go wash my hands with my cotton candy soap. I might actually show you that. All right, so I'm just gonna take these little pieces, and I'll probably just use one little piece for now, and I'll put that one over here. And I'm gonna show you what a beautiful lather this soap has. All right. Look at that. I wish you guys could feel how soft this is. Like, so soft. Okay. And then, ta-da! Yay! Alrighty. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up these other ones that I made today, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you want to see any other videos as I figure this stuff out at home as a beginner, let me know in the comments. Like, follow, subscribe, and thanks for watching.